Hello and welcome back to a new video. We will talk about how we can set up the points of interests of our units in a building. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select these, for example, from 7 to 12, and I will delete them. Okay. Now, if you bring a residential unit or a unit POI like this and place it in the apartment, it will be kind of tricky to place it. And for me, I found the easiest way. Now, there are two ways, of course, depending on the shape of your unit and whether if you want to follow that shape or if you want to keep it a simple box like this. So, in a corner like so, you can change the scale like so and place the unit or the point of interest as much as possible around the corner. This kind of works if I hide this and hide this. Like, this is covering this specific unit. So as you can see, it looks nice. And something to keep in mind, you need to keep these outside so we can select them. So you should not like bring it like this where it closely align with the wall or with the glass. No, there must be some space like so. Even if it goes outside a little, this is completely fine. Okay. Now let's say you want to follow the shape of a building where we have a unit like this and we have some sort of angle as we have here. So in this scenario, you want to draw your own polygon. So you can either do that in Unreal, so hold Ctrl and click on a specific apartment and then start drawing your point of interest and then replace the mesh, and that's it. Or the fastest way, and it really depends if you are the 3D artist, if you have access to your data or to the data of the building, here's what I would do for the best result and the best placement possible. So this is the building, and let's unhide everything real quick and let's hide just the volumes. So this is the building, and by tracing the building walls like so, so this is one unit, this is one unit, this is one unit, and so on. And this before, if you get this from Revit, all of the floor was one piece. So for me, if you see my other tutorials, I advise into dividing walls and floors into smaller pieces for multiple reasons. And one of them is the culling of the mesh. So when I am looking at this mesh, I don't want all the walls to be loaded. And this also is good for Lumen or Light Bake to divide your meshes. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back. So let's say this is here one unit. So this one unit here, you can either get the floor and extrude it, or you can paint a line on top of it and then have a volume like this that represents your apartment. So this here is a specific volume that is placed in the project normally where I want it to be placed. And what I would do then is select my volumes like this, and I would export my selected volumes with data of math, and let's set that here. So let's say volume test. Okay, now let's go back to our project and let's click on this unit here to delete it. And I'm going to go to my quickly add to project. Let's go to data of math, file import, and let's select our data of math file, this volume test, click open, and let's save it in a specific location. So based on the location of your project, you want to select a folder. In this case, I'm gonna just save it test for now. So click OK and click import. And as you can see here, this will now import our units. It seems I imported the floor in the tab, but that's completely fine because we can still use these. So here I can just set it to minus 300 or 400, and let's say minus 350, and it will be placed where we need it to be placed. Okay, so I'm going to select my point of interest, and I'm going to select my volume here, and I will right click this volume, and then I will replace selected actor with my point of interest. Boom, that's it. Now you can create a duplicate of the volume. So right click, and we have under edit duplicate. So Ctrl D to create a duplicate. Select one, then let's replace this with our actor. So now before I create a duplicate, let's select all these and let's create a duplicate. Okay. Now also select all these, or let's see if we can still have the duplicate selected. Right click, and then let's go to replace selected actors with select your point of interest of the residential unit. Click, and now we have all these selected like so. Now keep everything as is. Okay. What you need to do is to select the each remaining mesh, so the original mesh, you want to press on Ctrl B to locate it. Then you want to delete it, okay, from here. And then you want to select your point of interest and you want to go to the custom 3D mesh, assign that here and set custom mesh to true. And now, as you can see, we have our mesh set nicely. Now, you might get a material artifact, and that's because I have mapping on these meshes here set to 100 by 100 by 100. And this here is an effect that I made, as you can see on the other meshes, for the corners a little bit and for the animation that goes like this. So of course we don't want this. So what you need to do is to bring the actual mesh. So this is the mesh here. If you assign the material on it, let me see if we can get the material. So this is the points of interest material. What you need to do is to remap this or to project UVs on it. So basically to eliminate the 100 by 100 by 100 mapping. So go to UVs and go to project UVs and set this to box. And that's it. Now this will look fine. So what this means then in your digital application, if you have this mesh, okay, and let's see if we can assign any other material on it just for testing, and let's add quick checker. So this here looks nicely mapped, and in this scenario we don't want it. We want the mapping to be very, very simple UVW map, but we want it not to be a box 100 by 100 by 100. We simply want to fit the mapping on this specific element. Now the fit here will fit the entire building for some reason, so that also will not work, or it will work but it will mess up the effect we have. So perhaps if we make this unique and then we try to fit again, yes, this is what you basically want to do. You want to fit the mapping on the actual mesh. So you can either do that in your digital application like so, or you can do it inside Unreal Engine like so, like we discussed here. So you go to UVs and you go to project UVs, set it to box, and basically that's it. So click accept, and once you do it, so depending all these floors for me, this floor, this floor, this floor, this floor, and this, all these floors are the same. So I would basically reuse the same mesh on these guys, okay? So let me show you now. Again, we want to select this mesh from here. We want to delete it from our world because we don't want it. Because if you keep it and if you select your point of interest and then assign the mesh on it, they will overlap. So we definitely don't want that mesh to still be here unless you want to use it to take it to the floor on top of it. Now, you would do the same here. Ctrl B to locate it, then click here and assign it like so. Of course, the original mesh, don't forget to set the UV mapping on it if you've imported them like this. So project UVs, box, like so, and now we're good. So let's select that mesh and delete it. Now, once you do that, so let's say we've done it here now 3 times. So let me quickly select these. Let's delete them. Let's select these and delete them. What you need to do then is to select these, and simply now you want to click and drag, hold Alt and duplicate, and just place them roughly on your apartments with slight distance between each unit based on the floor height, like so, okay? So yeah, I can remove all of these and we can do them if you want, but I really hope you get the idea. So now if you select these and delete them, and now select these and let's do this, and click and drag and move them around like so, where they should be. And for these units here, you can export the volumes from your DCC application, place them where they should be in the world, create a duplicate, one duplicate to have the location so you can replace it with the point of interest, another duplicate so you can select the original actor and set it in the custom mesh, and instead of trying to find the point of interest or the mesh in the outliner here, so it would be slightly tedious. Now, we've replaced multiple points of interest here, so let me double check what we have. So this point of interest here, as you can see, the camera is inside the building. Now, before we rotate this, and this is the same for here too. This is number 16, and this here is number 15. So number 15 is this, okay? We've already replaced it. and let's select the unit, press Ctrl B to locate it, then delete it, and then select the unit number 15, then set the mesh you want to set, like so. Of course, we need to fix the mesh UV mapping, so let's do that real quick. Now this is fine. This here, if we rotate it 90 degrees or 180 degrees, it will not work. So what you need to do is to use the rotation from here. So here you need to set this to 180, and now you're good. Now what you need to do, of course, is to set your camera. So once you place all your units, you can select also all of them. So let's say I would select all these, and then I would set the distance to 6,500, for example, or 4,500, and set this to something like 350 or 340, and so on. Now, don't forget, once you set up everything, you need to make sure that you are using the correct table row name for every specific apartment, and you can call it a day. You are technically done. All right, I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, let me know. Any ideas, any suggestions, let me know. As always, thank you so much for watching. Stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.